guys, it's Corbin Stuckey of PixelTalk here, joined by Danny of xDivineDanix.
Yes, you got it right.
Yes, finally.
Congratulations.
She does YouTube videos on Disney. She visits Disney all the time, so if you guys would like to check out her channel, I'm going to put a link down in the description below. And tonight, last week I promised that I was going to be doing a spoiler review of 13 Reasons Why, and Danny's here. I like to do these spoiler reviews with a person, like almost like a discussion kind of thing. And we watched the first couple of episodes together, so that's why we're doing this video together. And then I went off for spring break. I finished the show, and yeah, pretty much, yeah, we're going to be talking about the spoilers, 13 Reasons Why.
Fun stuff.
So, I was actually really glad that, we're doing this now because I left for spring break and I was able to, talk to everybody, my friends back home to kind of, hear their, opinions about the show. Mm-hmm. And I think I was talking to you a lot because you didn't finish it yet and I finished it before I went on spring break. So what were your thoughts on this show, I guess?
It was emotional.
Yeah.
It was more emotional towards the very end though. Honestly, I didn't even get teary-eyed until the last few episodes.
Yeah, the last couple episodes definitely.
At first, I told you, I was like, oh, this is just high school drama.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed by it. But then, as the story progresses, it gets better and better. Probably the best thing for me was that it was so real.
Yeah.
Everything they portrayed, it wasn't a really badly made show. The actors did everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt so real. Even during the rape scenes, it was uncomfortable.
It was really uncomfortable.
So that's how you know they did it right.
Yeah, and I was thinking a little bit, I was talking to some people and they were saying how kind of cliche it was, that's not really how high school is like. No, that's kind of how it's like. It's really kind of where it's filled with the most narcissistic people ever. We're actually living in an age where this is the most narcissistic, age of teenagers ever, and that's kind of what this show really portrays. And like you were saying how realistic it is. Mm-hmm. I felt it was really realistic as well because all the things that happened to her, I could see happening to a regular female teenager, especially in the first episode. I can see some douchebag guy taking a picture of her and posting it.
That's all it takes for you to become a target. And
yeah.
Then from there on, it just snowballs.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how the show, puts a light on that, where it's the littlest thing can really make you a target. And it's not necessarily people doing it on purpose. It's just I didn't mean to send this photo out. I didn't mean to put your name on this list to in a negative way. I meant it in a positive way.
Yeah.
And it's certain little things that trigger someone, and that's kind of essentially what happens to her. I think I remember we were watching the first episode and that picture that Bryce sent out. Mm-hmm. We looked at each other and we were like, that better not be the reason why.
Yeah. I was gonna be so pissed if that was the reason why. But then, as I kept watching, I understood that was just a small part of the bigger picture.
There are 13 reasons, and as the show progresses, it essentially gets more and more bad. The things that happen to her,
right.
It's really, really bad. Especially the last episode, the second last episode, I think is the worst. And the last episode isn't the worst, but it's definitely the triggering point where she goes to see the counselor and everything.
It's not the worst, but it's the worst because that was her last straw.
Yeah, that was hey, I'm going to see this counselor.
She was still willing to be alive if somebody is willing to help her.
Yeah, especially a counselor.
Right.
And I don't see a counselor even saying something like that.
He was the worst at his job.
Yeah.
The worst.
I felt it was very ironic that this counselor who's been trying to help these kids out this entire time was the last trigger for Hannah Baker to kill herself. And I feel that says a lot about people who want to help teenagers, counselors, but they get so deep into their problems that they don't really know how to help. Just talking to somebody, that doesn't help anybody really. Being a counselor and just talking to somebody, that doesn't really do anything. I feel that was kind of portrayed really well in this show, where it's okay, I'm a counselor, I want to talk, but talking doesn't really help sometimes, especially in situations like that regarding rape. and stuff like that.
Well, yeah, but it was his reactions to the things that she was saying. Like, he was really like, "Oh, Bryce will be gone. Like, he's a senior.
Exactly. Yeah,
He'll be gone in a few months."
Like,
what kind of reaction?
Yeah, who does that? Like, it was
How
just
are
really
you still a counselor?
exactly.
Employed?
It was really just I couldn't, like, dude, you need to call the police. Like, that should be like the number one thing that you have to do as a counselor is to call the police. But
yeah,
like, I will admit too that a majority of stuff that happens to her in the show is kind of her fault. Like, I'm not saying that, like, you know, that her suicide should have been, like, you know, justified. But I do believe that, like, okay, there are ways around this. Like, you could have definitely said no to, you know, these things happening to you. You could have definitely, like, told a parent or a, like, officer or something like that. But, you know, it didn't seem like she was, like, taking a lot of action. And, like, you know, that is something to take into consideration. Is, like, you know, she's committing suicide anyway, so, like, that's not even the right action to take. So I guess in her character, that's, you know what I mean? Like, some of the stuff that happens to her could have been
yeah, that it could have been her fault, but also I think it just goes back to the whole real thing, because when this happens in real life, I'm pretty sure people are like, well, I don't want to get this person in trouble.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They're afraid to go to an authority figure.
Yeah.
And actually she did it at the very end as her last straw, and that didn't help her.
Yeah.
But I think that goes back into it because, like I said, like, people in real life, they're not doing that. They don't. They're too afraid to.
Yeah,
so they won't.
That's yeah. I'm saying this because, like, you know, I feel as though, like, if I said in my last video, like, if anything like that ever happens to you, definitely, like, go to an authority figure or just, like, even an officer. But, like, in the show, I'm saying that, like, it could have been, like, you know, she could, what's the word I'm looking for?
She could have gone sooner.
Yeah.
Like, there's things she could have done differently.
Exactly.
That
like, there's
probably could have helped her.
Yeah. And I'm not trying to say, like, you know, her suicide should have been justified or something like that, but, like, I'm just saying, like, it's a really controversial show, and that's why, you know, I'm having such a hard time saying the right thing, because I don't want to offend people out there, but, like, it's being talked about. I love shows like that where, like, it's like you can talk about, like, how certain things can be done and things like that to that nature, and it's just, and I talk to a lot of people, and I don't think the show is trying to glorify suicide, but I know a lot of people are interpreting that. Like,
right. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I get why people think that, but that wasn't their intentions for it. I guess it's just how you take it. Like, everybody is perceiving the show in a different way. Most people, it's been, like, a positive reaction to it, but there is some backlash, and that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, people are, like, going to be, like, inspired. People who are suicidal
Yeah.
to, like, do the tapes.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said, like, in my last video. I was like, I hope this doesn't, like, you know, transpire anyone to, like, you know, do the same exact thing that she did. I like the show for what it is. I don't really try to, like, bring real life into a show.
Yeah.
I just liked it for, I liked the acting. I liked, you know, the characters that were involved. I liked how the characters were assholes. I loved hating these kids, you know what I mean? And I definitely want to see season 2 because, you know, with the, you know, obviously they're foreshadowing a school shooting with Tyler. Like, I was like, oh my god. There's
so many questions unanswered still.
Yeah, there's so many different, like, Alex, like, why did he shoot himself in the head?
And was Alex.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so sad.
Yeah, and like it's true. I know what they're doing. They're pulling, like, a Walking Dead where, like, they can't answer the questions that can be answered until the next season. Like, okay, did Alex shoot himself or was it Tyler that shot him? Like, that's really good, like, TV storytelling. Like,
they're always trying to have questions unanswered. Like, even in this first series, all anybody wanted to know was, like, what was on Clay's tape the entire time.
Exactly.
Until that episode. And even, I don't know, it was, like, in the second episode, I don't know if you remember, the scene of him and Hannah kissing.
Yeah.
They showed, like, a piece of it.
It showed that.
And then I was like, I couldn't even tell if it was them. So then you're questioning, like, was it them? What was happening?
Yeah.
And then they didn't even show you till later on again.
Yeah, exactly. It was like they showed little, like, pieces and glimpses of what could have happened, what could have transpired, and that's one of the things that I really did like is it gives you enough to keep on watching. Like you need to know, why is this kid on these tapes? Because he doesn't seem like the kind of kid to make someone like kill himself. He's a really nice kid, and he was like friends with her throughout the show. And it's just like that's one of the many addicting things about this is like you got to know why Clay did this, and like why Clay's on the tapes. And does he really need to be on the tapes? Like,
he doesn't.
He doesn't need to be on the tapes.
But again, like, they did such a good job because everybody is over here racking their brains trying to think of something he did wrong. Turns out he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, like I thought that was a little anticlimactic.
I mean, she said it herself. She's like, you don't belong.
Yeah, you don't belong to the tapes and everything. You just need to be here.
Yeah.
I felt like she put him on the tapes because like he, out of all people, needed to know.
Yes, of course.
Like he needed to know. Like
especially because he would have been wondering for like the rest of his life, why did she push me away? And then he was able to understand it as he was listening to the tapes. Yeah.
Also, another thing I want to talk about is like, okay, so Bryce was number 12 on the list, right? Like Bryce was like,
they skipped him.
They did skip him because he found out like, okay, like if I give these tapes to Bryce, like he's gonna like destroy these tapes. Yeah. But then also, Tony has like, copies of the tape. So, but I feel like if I was like Hannah, I would have put like the counselor at 12 because I feel like if I was Hannah, I would know that Bryce would obviously destroy these tapes. So I would make Bryce like the 13th because if you think about it, he is a majority of... He's like the reason why everything has happened to her. Like he is the majority of reasons because he sent the picture out. True. He sent the picture out on the Justin tape. He grabbed her ass in the Alex tape, and he raped her. So he's like the embodiment of what is wrong with her life, basically. And so I definitely feel like he should have been 13 because she had to have known that like either somebody was going to skip him or like, he like Bryce was going to destroy the tapes or something. That's one thing I had a problem with. And I was talking to you about this earlier. What's his name? Zach, the Asian kid.
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything. Like he kind of did. He kind of started the scene in like the cafeteria where like, why don't you like me and stuff like that. And all he really did was like not continue giving her notes like in the little basket, the nice basket or whatever.
And he was taking hers.
Wait, he was taking hers? Wait, what?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? What?
He was taking any of the compliments she got. He was taking them out.
Oh,
That's why she wrote the letter.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And put it in there.
So like
she wrote a letter to him and put it in there because she knew he was taking them so that he would read it. And then he read the letter. That's when it showed him crumpling it, but he didn't actually crumple it. So
he was like taking like letters from other people.
Right.
Okay.
Because he knew that helped her. Like she told him, she was like, "Oh, these stupid things, like they mean something to me."
Oh my god.
So he purposely took them out.
I thought he was just like not writing like letters anymore.
No.
Like, and I thought she was saying stuff like, "I need these letters from you." I thought that's what I was getting. Okay, so he was taking letters from like everybody.
Yeah.
That were towards her. Okay.
Right.
However,
because he knew that it helped her.
Yeah. However, though, I don't think that's worth keying someone's car over. I kind of cringe because, like, I love my car, and no. What else is there to talk about? Oh yeah. Also, okay. So like in the show, like it's kind of hinted that she could be lying about a majority of the stuff that's happening, or maybe she just doesn't know about this stuff.
That's another thing it keeps you guessing about. Like, how much of this is true.
And like Zach had the letter. Like he didn't crumple it up. Like he had the letter. So that makes you wonder. Like I was kind of thinking like maybe he heard her tape, and like he wrote like a fake letter to cover himself, like in case if this ever went to court. But I don't know.
Maybe, but he would know her handwriting because she wrote the poem.
Yeah, and then like Clay is like there, and then Zach is like, "Do you want to like see the letter?" And Clay's like, "No, I'm good." Like he doesn't. He should have like looked at the letter just to see if like that was a legit like letter.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay. Yeah, because like
I don't think they would write it off that easy if it wasn't. Like, they would put more of a focus on it.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like season 2 is going to be a very court-based show where like everyone's going to court, and it's going to be basically about. It's going to be about many different things. It's going to be about the court-based stuff and like the school shooting and that happening. I feel like that's going to come back into place maybe, just like a little thing. I mean, I could be wrong, but I know if I was like writing a TV show, I'd be like, okay, these guys are obviously questioning this, so let me just write this in. But it's not really like the biggest thing ever. I just noticed that like that was never unanswered. Like why did he have the letter? Like what did she see? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out my favorite character. Tony was my favorite character. I love Tony. I want to hang out with Tony so badly.
Me too.
Like, Tony, don't die in season 2, please. Please don't.
I really loved Alex. Like, he was probably my favorite besides Tony.
Yeah.
He was my favorite because he wasn't blind to anything that was happening. He wasn't trying to, like, turn away from anything. Like, he was admitting to it, and he would get pissed off when other people weren't admitting to what they were doing wrong.
Exactly. Like, he actually was, out of all of them, he felt like he was like the guiltiest. Like he acknowledged that he was guilty. He felt really guilty. And another thing that in the show that it acknowledges is like when someone's like depressed or suicidal, we don't really know the signs. Like we can never know really the signs unless someone commits suicide. Mm-hmm. I had no idea Alex was gonna kill himself or try to like at least kill himself. I thought that was out of nowhere. I was like, who's in the van? Like who shot himself in the head? And then when you find out that it's Alex, it's like, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be Justin or something because like he got in a fight with Bryce and maybe he just like shot himself because of what he told Jessica. But no, I did not see that like Alex being the one in the ambulance at all. Yeah. And that's another thing I really like about the show, that it acknowledges like, you know, we don't know when someone's suicidal. We don't really pay attention to the signs sometimes. I mean, we can see if like somebody's depressed, but we don't know if someone's suicidal unless they tell us or they finally try to commit suicide. And that's something I really enjoyed. Like, this was so real.
Yeah.
This was so real, and I really appreciated that they acknowledge all the different points and how it's the little things that like kind of compile up into like this gigantic thing, and that's when people reach that breaking point. That's what I really enjoyed about it.
Yeah. I'm excited to see the reaction of her parents, because now they have them.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, they showed just the very beginning, but like, I didn't even see that coming. Like, I didn't expect
like them
to get the tapes. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool that they finally got some closure, because the mom was great in the show. She was
amazing.
Yeah.
The scene where Hannah was killing herself and she walks in, like, that is the scene that, like, if you don't cry throughout any of the show, that's the scene that will get you, I promise.
That's the scene that will probably get her an Emmy. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel as though this show is definitely going to get a lot of Emmys.
Yeah.
In terms like, I don't know, Netflix Emmys. I don't know what the categories are, but she was amazing. I loved how she's trying to find out why her daughter committed suicide.
Yeah.
Because she's talking to Clay, and it's like, I'm sorry, we never got a letter. We never got a reason why she did this. And you understand why she's this upset. Because, you know, any mother would be this upset.
Yeah.
But, like, to the, like, extent of, like, we never got a reason. Right. And it's almost like, I gotta know, why did my daughter kill herself?
She's more upset because she never got closure.
Exactly. And I really liked how, you know, finally at the end of the season, she has this closure. She has these tapes. Mm-hmm. And she's probably going to be going out, like, after all these people.
That's
like,
what I want to see. I want to see what she's going to do after hearing all the tapes.
I feel like, you know, there's definitely going to be a lot more characterization. Like, especially with the mothers. Like, I didn't really like Clay's mom, like, throughout the season. Like, I liked her.
Yeah, no.
But in the beginning, I was like...
Either.
In the beginning, she was so, like, not controlling, but, like, so, like, you know, touchy and stuff. Mm-hmm. And... I do like how maybe what they can do with her character, like trying to figure out like from Clay, like what's been going on, like her becoming kind of like this, I don't know, character where I like where they could go with this character for sure. What other characters did I just dislike? Obviously Bryce, he's a prick.
Yeah.
Bryce is a prick.
Like the most disgusting person.
Yeah. I do like I like the actor. I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him in future projects. The problem is, I was saying this in my last review, you can't look at these kids anymore without thinking of them as like the assholes from 13 Reasons Why.
No, but like I said, that's how you know they did a good job.
Exactly.
Like, if you despise the characters you're supposed to, they did what they were supposed to.
Exactly. I totally agree with that.
They did their jobs really well.
When he wasn't a dick, I thought he was funny. I thought, oh, this is a bro. This is someone I'd like to hang out with. But once you figure out like he's doing all this stuff like through the tapes, bro, like you're a prick. Like, and then I kind of felt as the show was going on. I don't know if you felt this way. I felt a little bit more sympathetic for Justin.
Yeah.
Because
of his upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all the stuff going on at home.
Between like him and Clay, I thought, he was obviously an asshole to Clay, but like you said, with everything that's going on at home and the reason why he's trying to like keep these tapes away from Clay and like the reasons why he's on the tapes and why everyone else is on the tapes, you understand because he's trying to protect his girlfriend's mentality and everything. He should have probably told her, but obviously he should have told someone, but you understand where he's coming from. He doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
And I like, even though I didn't like him like in the beginning, I started feeling for him like, okay, like dude.
I think it really accurately portrays like bullies in real life, for example, because like he was an asshole, yes, and you hear stories all the time of like bullies in real life who like it turns out they have something going on at home or something.
Yeah.
So like that's the reasoning behind it.
Yeah, I thought that was like a really good side note. It's like, it's stuff that's going on at home that like implements them to do the things that they do. I love Alex's reaction when he's like talking to Justin. Like when he's like, what are you talking about offing him up? Like what did he say? Like in the show, like Justin's talking about potentially killing Clay. And like Alex is like, what is wrong with you? Like,
what do you mean you're gonna end him?
Yeah.
Something like that.
What does that mean? Yeah, stuff like that. And then Clay's reaction to Justin was like, what are you, 5? Like we're gonna put an end to you. What are you, 5? Like I love little stuff like that. Or it's like he's trying to be like a cliche like high school villain, but everyone's like, dude,
they know that he's not gonna stick to his word.
Like, what are you doing, man?
It's all talk.
There's so much to talk about in this show. Oh my god, what else is there to talk about? Any side notes? Any thoughts?
Do you know who the executive producer of the show is?
Selena Gomez.
How?
I don't know.
That had me shook to the core. Shook.
I feel like what happened was, she read the book or something, and she really liked it. She got her mother also helped her out with the series. And yeah, she was an executive producer, and she helped out, I guess.
I was in shock. I watched like the behind the scenes afterwards.
Yeah, after the show ended, like it played like a little 30-minute documentary, kind of explaining the stuff that she did, and how she was involved. Also, okay, another thing. I heard that they weren't supposed to show the suicide scene. Like, is that true? Like, they weren't supposed to show that. They were, like, authorized not to show the suicide scene, and they did that.
I have no idea.
I'm going to have to Google that. If you guys know, like, the story behind that, comment down below. But, yeah, apparently I guess they weren't supposed to show it, and they did it, and that was really controversial. I was, like, watching it. I had to look away, because I don't have a problem with gore or anything like that. But if it's something like real, like someone slitting their wrist, I had to run to the bathroom.
I kid you not, I was like this.
Yeah.
Like, basically covering my entire face.
Yeah. And I had to, like, my bathroom's right there. I had to, like, run across to my bathroom because I thought I was going to puke. Like, I have a phobia where, like, if it's, like, somebody, like, slitting their wrists, like, that's my thing. Yeah. Like, that, and it was really graphic. I had to turn away.
I was covering my face, but also me and my brother were crying.
Oh.
We were
you watched it with your brother?
So many tears, yes.
Oh, God.
Watched it with my brother, and I think it impacted him more than it impacted me. Like,
really?
He was more emotional than I was. And then he told me afterwards that, like, the reason he was so emotional is because it's, like, a thing that actually happens in real life. Like, I guess he was imagining, like, this is what people, like, are doing, like, on a daily basis.
Did your brother bully anybody in high school? That's probably why. No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah, no. But
wait,
what? Not intense, like.
No, I was kidding. Like he seems like a nice guy. He probably did not bully anybody.
Oh, did he bully? I thought you meant did he get bullied?
No. I was asking. I was saying, like, you were saying that he was, like, getting really emotional, and I asked
Yeah.
you, like, is he getting really emotional because he feels bad because he bullied somebody?
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, I've seen what your brother, like, what he's like, and I don't think he could have bullied anybody, so... This got too real. I'm sorry.
We're talking about our own personal lives now.
So, yeah, it was just, like, a really real show. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like, some people are saying different things. Some people have different opinions on it. But, like, I really enjoyed it for what it is. Like, I thought it was really... I like how we're talking about it and, like, how... Like, some people are just really scared to talk about suicide. Mm-hmm. And, like, because, like, you know, you're supposed to be, like, positive. You can't really talk about it. Yeah. But, like, no. I think we should talk about it. Like, if you're, like, feeling that way, I think, like, you know, it should be acknowledged. And this show definitely really acknowledged that, like, suicide is prevalent. It's definitely a thing. And it should be, you know, talked about. And, yeah, I think the show did a really good job with that.
Me too. I think people are more comfortable with being open about it now. Now that everybody else is discussing it, people feel okay with talking about it too.
Yeah, for sure.
And everybody has taken away something different from the show too. So like everybody has a different perspective, like on how it impacted them, like what they learned from it. And I think that's probably the most interesting thing. Mm-hmm. Like to see what everybody's taken away from it.
For sure, for sure.
Or if they hate it. I mean, either way.
Yeah.
Either way, it's still interesting to hear.
Yeah, the memes are good.
They are.
The memes are amazing. Some of them are sick and demented.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good. I was gonna give you a tape earlier.
What did I do?
What else is there? What else is there to talk about?
How much we hate Courtney. Is that her name? Yeah.
The Asian chick, right?
I'm sorry, I was about to curse. I don't know if this is a family-friendly channel.
I don't care. Go ahead.
I fucking hate Courtney. With a burning passion.
Oh my god.
Like, she is almost just as bad as Bryce, like, to me. Almost.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
she's, like, right next to Bryce. Mm-hmm. Because she literally didn't think it was something that should be mentioned. Like,
yeah.
I get that she was trying to protect herself. But everybody else, remember when they were at Monet's and they were all discussing what they should do?
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, well, we should, like, sabotage Bryce, you know? He's to blame here. Mm. And she was like, no, I don't think we should. She was the only person, like, saying no. Why? Because you're afraid?
Yeah.
I can't. I despise her.
Another reason, this kind of brought up the whole Bryce thing again. Another reason why I really hated Bryce is because I know people like this. I used to go to I used to go to college with a guy like this, where he's basically a sociopath. Like he will believe anything that he implements into his mind. Like, oh, I didn't rape her.
Right.
She was asking for it.
Yeah.
Like, I know so many people like that, and it's one of the reasons why I came to Orlando, because I came into contact with people like that all the time. And I had to get out of that area because it was getting really, really bad. And I just hate sociopaths. Like, people who make a lie their truth. Like, they will legitimately think that it is the truth.
That's why he told Clay, he was like, if you consider that rape, then I guess it's rape.
Yeah.
Because, like, in his mind, it's not.
It's not,
he didn't do anything wrong.
Exactly. No, that's
insane
total rape.
Also. But it's interesting that they also, again, give you insight into what their minds are like. Yeah.
It was like definitely like really, I felt like again, like stuff like that. I think it was portrayed really well in the show. And I like how also the show warned you about like upcoming things. I really liked how each time like it like when the show started, like I thought it was just going to be the intro, but like it was like a warning. I was like, what's going on there? What is that? This is probably going to be one hella episode, probably.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And I was crying.
It was a good way for us to mentally prepare.
Yeah.
If it wasn't there, I'm not even sure what I would do.
Yeah, because like I remember like when we were on Facebook, like people were like making statuses on the show, and people were like making statuses on how you needed somebody.
Yeah.
And we thought it was just for the first 2 episodes, but I think they meant the first or the last 2 episodes. I think that's what they meant, because like they were,
for sure,
because they were saying like you need someone to be in the room with you, and
they just said like I recommend watching it with somebody. So I just assumed like the whole season, but like really it's not the whole season. Just the last few episodes are.
Yeah, the last few episodes are definitely. I don't want to say the highlight, but definitely the more
it escalates.
It does. It really
to
does.
Another level.
Like if you watch this show, like, and you thought, oh, this isn't that bad. Like somebody's sending pictures.
That's what
like,
I thought.
It gets worse.
Don't be deceived.
It gets worse. The poem guy. I feel like that was okay. I feel like that was so random, and they just needed a reason for him to be on the tapes.
Same.
Like,
I feel like if anything, that is not even a good reason. Like,
I mean, he shouldn't have like put like a poem of hers in like the school magazine, but I feel as though that was just like.
But it was anonymous. That's
the
thing.
It was anonymous.
Like he kept it anonymous. He put it in there as a compliment to her because he thought it was so good and he wanted to share it with everybody else.
Yeah.
So, like, he didn't have any bad intentions. Like, unlike everybody else's tape, everybody else's reasons, what they did wrong, he didn't have bad intentions in what he was doing. Everybody else, like, they would purposely, like, they knew they were doing something to hurt her.
Yeah. Exactly. I feel as though it was just, like, they just needed a reason for him to be, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't strong enough, but, like, I was like, okay, a lot of these reasons aren't really strong. It's... Like, I kind of saw as, like, okay, she's just getting all these different things and piling them all up. So, like, I mean, whether if it was strong or not, like, it was definitely, like, the 2 last reasons why she decided to do that to herself. So...
To do that to herself.
Yes. I don't know why I didn't say commit suicide. I don't know why, because I've been saying it throughout the whole video.
These things now.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. So that's pretty much it, really. I mean, was there anything else that you wanted to, like, say, like, regarding the show? Like, anything that we didn't touch on, or?
I think we covered most of it.
I think we did, too. Like I said, I can't wait for season 2. I can't wait to see, like, how they handle this. Do you think, like, they're going to do another tape thing? Or do you think it's just going to be centering around, like, the tapes from before?
I am assuming they're just going to center around the tapes from before, because I feel like it would be too repetitive for them to do that. Like, people would lose interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If they were, like, I think they should just center around the tapes from before, because I feel like that's going to be... I feel like there's definitely going to be, like, court scenes where they review the tapes over and over again. I feel like that's going to be a majority of the season 2. There's going to be
the court scenes. There's going to be her parents listening to them. Yeah. So it's going to be incorporated into the new season.
Yeah. And I feel as though if they did do new tapes, I figure it would be either A, Alex does some tapes because he tried to kill himself, maybe, or B, Tyler does some tapes as to reasons why he's about to do a school shooting. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. But if they do, I feel like that could be potentially what's going on. But I feel like it's just going to center around the original tapes.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, that was our thoughts on 13 Reasons Why. Comment down below what you think of the show. Like the video, share it, and please subscribe to PixelTalk if you haven't yet. Check out Danny's channel. I'm sure she'd really appreciate it. Look at that face. Please. And yeah, I'm Corbin Stuckey, and this is PixelTalk. The shadow is getting